Hey anglers, it's Al, the Hitman Sims with the Connecticut Fishing Recon Report. The freshest reports online. Brought to you by BLACKOPSfishing.com. Real undercover fishing. And the first recon report comes to us from Hilliers Tackle in Waterford. And it's a good one despite the rotten weather. Stripers are showing up in the sluiceway on top water plugs. Still bass at 6 Mile and hatchets and the mouth of the Connecticut River. The race is a mixed bunch of bass and blues now, about 50-50. You'll get more blues on one tide and then more bass on the next. Also, bass and blues have been showing at Bartlett's, and Millstone has been good for small bass and blues almost any time. Fluke fishing is still really good and they seem to be hanging in the 40 to 50 foot depths right now, but expect them to go deeper any day with the warmer waters. There's still a good keeper versus short fish ratio, and a word of advice is, if you get a couple of shorts, move on, because the bigger ones have been schooling together. Porgies are here, but still spotty at this time, but the ones that are around are very big. Recon report comes to us from Connecticut Outfitters in Wethersfield. There's still stripers in the river, both north and south of Hartford. But the unpredictability of the river makes it tough. But the fish are there. Just Wednesday, a 36-inch striper was caught north of Hartford on bloodworms. Pike fishing is fair to good. Most reports we're hearing of are coming from the Salmon River Cove. The trout bite is good just about everywhere. Lakes, rivers, and ponds. The recent heavy rain and the future rainy forecast looks like trout fishing will be good for a while still. Bass fishing in lakes and ponds is really good. There are still a few spawners in the colder lakes. Other than that, most of the bass are done spawning at this point. Bass can be caught on any type of lure right now. Wacky worms, frogs, plugs, and spinnerbaits have accounted for many fish very recently. One gentleman from Colchester caught a 2 and a 3 pound largemouth on a leopard frog lure and a 4 and a 5 pound largemouth on a Senko. He also had reports of catching 15 plus bass 3 days in a row on jigs and wacky worms. Walleye fishing can be good this time of year. We've heard of a few fish caught recently, but the guys are very secretive with their walleye spots. Try large shiners alive on a drop shot rig or a slip bobber rig. Walleye can be found around weed lines, but also in deeper water this time of year. Catfishing is good, but it's tougher fishing with the river levels constantly changing. When the water is high, try fishing a little closer to shore. This time of year, many baits work well, from chicken liver, live baits like night crawlers, sandworms, shiners, and fresh cut bait will all produce fish. Carp fishing is really good. They are starting to spawn in the lakes and ponds. Remember to stop in and see our full line of European carp fishing supplies. The marine report. Stripers are in the mouth of the Connecticut River and there's bunker there too. Fluke fishing is really good for the guys who have been getting out there. And the next recon report comes to us from Captain Jack Ballin of the Fish Connection in Preston. Captain Jack says fluke fishing is excellent off the Rhode Island beaches. Try 40 to 50 feet of water. It's also great behind fishers. The Thames is excellent for keeper bass all the way to Norwich. Some guys are getting them trolling the tube and worm. Other guys are getting them on live bunker. The race is very good still with bass. Three-way bucktails or trolling wire is the best way to go. Blues made a showing in the last week. Trout fishing has been very good. We'll have to see what the rain brings, but up until now it's been very good. And the next recon report comes to us from our very own Black Ops fishing team. Ethan, our carp and cat fishing expert, that tells us that lakes and ponds are starting to see carp spawn now all across the state. But that doesn't mean that there aren't still a few hungry fish out there. On the Connecticut River prior to today, 6/7, the big rain, the river was dropping and carp were being caught both north and south of Hartford, with a small window of opportunity before the full spawn. Catfishing was also steady before the rain and should return to normal for a couple of weeks before the spawn at the end of this month. Kyle and Moose picked up 4 cats at Weathersfield Cove using eel chunks. Fish Sean and the Hitman, me, have been smashing bass everywhere we go. Wacky worms, topwater frogs, spinner baits, they're hitting everything and they're everywhere. Haven't got any monsters, but their bite is good. Locally, trout fishing's still really good. Fish Sean and Jeff have been scoring at Day Pond, Salmon River, Blackledge, and Jeremy Rivers. On the salty side, Furphy and Cat Paw tallied 9 fluke to 24 inches on 6-6 just yesterday at Gardner's. I should get a few fillets out of that. This has been Al the Hitman Sims with the Connecticut Fishing Recon Report, brought to you by BlackOpsFishing.com. Until next week, keep off my bass.